what was the shift? Because you're struggling, you got a few books, you got some things out there, you're starting to get some notoriety.
Right, right.
But then, it exploded. Okay.
Well, it's still exploding, having a movie at this point in my career in my 70s and everything's a big deal for me. Yeah. And as I look back, a lot of people, depending on their mindset and what level of consciousness they're at, they'll say shit happens. What I say is shift happens. Shift happens, and shift happens repeatedly for me and has been doing it since I was a teenager. There have been breakthroughs. There have been ahas. There was even one when I was homeless. And I'm in the public library, so I'm surrounded by books, and I love books. So in one way, it was like, hey, this is a blessing. I'm reading all the self-help classics, and they kept pointing to me being responsible for my life. And it's like, oh, man, you guys got it wrong. You don't know my situation. Why would I create homelessness? Why would I do that to myself? And that's when one of the first shifts happens, because I look inside and I realize, oh, I was modeling my life after very successful authors who were self-destructive, miserable, alcoholic, and even suicidal. Unconsciously, I concluded that's what I need to do in order to pave my way for success. So that big shift, that aha, that big first one there was the realization I was creating my own reality, but I was creating it unconsciously. And I'm saying this very specifically because I want everybody that's watching and listening to look at their own lives, to ask themselves, what might you be believing to create the results you're getting? And I had released a little pamphlet. Word got around about the little pamphlet. It was called Spiritual Marketing. That book ended up being called The Attractor Factor, being picked up by a big publisher, being raved about by the New York Times. It became one of my first big bestsellers. And a woman in Australia called me and said, I read your book, and I'm thinking about making a movie about the law of attraction. And I was wondering if I could have you in it. I've learned that the greatest breakthroughs, the greatest shifts happen when you say yes. Even when you're scared, even when it's unknown, even when there's no guarantee, even when you're shaking in your shoes, you say yes, knowing this is probably going to work out. It feels like it's the right way to go, even though it's a nervous way to go. I said yes. That was another big shift in my life.